Brandon Aiyuk, 1,342 yards, 7 touchdowns, a $120 million contract that San Francisco cannot move. And according to Matt Maiocco on The Rich Eisen Show, the price to bring him to the DMV could be a 7th-round pick. A 7th-round pick. That is not a Twitter rumor. That is NBC Sports telling you that the 49ers are backed into a corner with nowhere to go. But here is what nobody is connecting. Aiyuk and Jaden Daniels shared a field at Arizona State for 2 seasons. The chemistry does not need to be built from scratch. It already exists, and Adam Peters knows it. Joanne Coley of Sports Illustrated confirmed that Peters is open to Aiyuk, but he is playing the smartest game possible. Wait until the April 25th draft so the pressure on Lynch becomes unbearable. This is chess in Ashburn, and Washington has every single piece exactly where it needs to be. Now, while that game of chicken plays out, there is another name on the board that Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report just identified as a logical destination for the Commanders, a receiver that Jaden Daniels already knows by heart and whose trade price is going to start a very serious conversation about whether this franchise's 7th overall pick is actually worth that. And when you finish processing everything happening on Washington's offense, there is a quiet defensive move that Peters is cooking at the slot corner position, a cornerback with a visit already scheduled in Ashburn, who has the numbers to take a starting job away from a player this team just signed. And nobody in the DMV saw it coming like this. Okay, listen, I need you to hear this clearly because this is the kind of thing you look back on later and ask yourself why they didn't just do it. Brandon Aiyuk, 28 years old, former first-round pick. In his last fully healthy season, the man put up 1,342 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns. And according to Matt Maiocco from NBC Sports, who went on The Rich Eisen Show, the cost to go get him right now could be a 7th-round pick. A 7th-round pick, fam. That doesn't even sound real. And look, I get the skepticism. I genuinely do. Aiyuk did not play a single snap during the entire 2025 season. 0. After receiving a 4-year, $120 million extension, he simply chose not to play. The relationship with San Francisco collapsed in ways we still don't fully understand. GM John Lynch said back in January, and I'm quoting directly here, I think it's safe to say that he's played his last snap with the Niners. It's a situation that just went awry. That was almost 3 months ago, and Aiyuk is still on the 49ers roster right now as we record this. That tells you everything about how much actual leverage Lynch has left. Now, here's something most people are glossing over, and it makes this story way more interesting. Aiyuk and Jaden Daniels were teammates at Arizona State, 2 full seasons together. Jaden knows how he moves. He knows how he thinks on the field. That's not a footnote. That's real chemistry that already exists. It doesn't have to be built from scratch in training camp. So what's the problem? 2 things. First, the money. Aiyuk carries a cap hit of $14.64 million next season, and that number jumps significantly in the years that follow. Second, the uncertainty around his physical and mental condition right now. This man has not played in over 500 days. Nobody truly knows what shape he's in, and that raises legitimate questions that you can't just wave away. Right now, Adam Peters is taking a very calculated stance. According to Joanne Coley at Sports Illustrated, Peters is warming to the idea of bringing Aiyuk in, but not through a trade. The preference is to wait it out and see if San Francisco eventually folds and releases him outright. And honestly, that strategy makes complete sense. If the Commanders hold their ground until after the April 25th draft, the pressure on the 49ers only goes up because Washington could just use those picks on a receiver instead. But here's the flip side, and you have to keep this in mind. If the Commanders walk out of the draft without another receiver who can contribute, San Francisco gets some of that leverage back. This is a full-on game of chicken between 2 front offices, and right now, Washington is in the driver's seat. Look, I could be wrong, but if this man ends up landing in burgundy and gold for a 7th-round pick and Jaden connects with him in the slot the way they used to do it in Tempe, that's highway robbery. Straight-up highway robbery. And while everybody is locked in on the Aiyuk situation, there's another name on the board that's generating serious conversation. Brian Thomas Jr., 23 years old, LSU product. 2 full seasons as Jaden Daniels' teammate in college. Gary Davenport over at Bleacher Report published an analysis identifying logical landing spots for Thomas if the Jaguars decide to move him, and he put the Commanders on the list. The specific proposal has Washington sending the number 7 overall pick to Jacksonville in exchange for Thomas. And this is where the conversation gets complicated because Thomas's production in 2025 was not great. 48 receptions, 707 yards, 2 touchdowns. That production does not justify a first-round pick. That's just the truth. But what Davenport is arguing is that you have to look at who Brian Thomas was in 2024. His rookie season, 87 catches, 1,282 yards, 10 touchdowns, Pro Bowl selection in year 1. That guy looked like the next great receiver in this league. So what happened in 2025? Honestly, the situation in Jacksonville was a complete mess in terms of offensive coherence. The system didn't help him, but the question Peters has to ask himself is this: which Thomas is the real one, the 2024 version or the 2025 version? And the bigger question, are you really going to move the number 7 pick for that level of uncertainty? Because that pick could be an elite edge rusher. It could be a shutdown corner. It could be the offensive tackle this offense eventually needs. There are real needs on this defense that pick could address. My honest take, you pick up the phone and you listen, but the price has to come down significantly before this makes any sense for Washington. If Jacksonville wants number 7, the Commanders should come back with a package built around something like the 28th pick plus 71 plus something additional, not the full first-round selection by itself. A first for Thomas, as things stand right now, is too much, bro. Way too much. Way too. And look, while everyone in the DMV is focused on the offensive side of things, the Commanders are also doing their homework on the other side of the ball. Kaante Scott, the slot cornerback out of Miami, has a top 30 visit scheduled with Washington. He already visited the Texans, and the Bears have a visit coming up too. This prospect is generating real interest around the league, and once you look at his profile, you understand exactly why. Why does he fit the Commanders specifically? Durante Jones is installing a new scheme in the secondary, and he needs a slot corner who can do 3 things: cover, pressure the quarterback, and tackle in the run game. Scott does all 3. In 2025, he recorded 17 coverage stops, which ranked 6th in the country among all corners. But what really jumps off the page is his ability as a blitzing corner: 17 pressures and 5 sacks, both of which led the entire country among cornerbacks. That is a defensive back who can create havoc in ways that Aiyuk Robertson, who was just signed in free agency, simply cannot replicate. Robertson is a capable player, but Scott in the 2nd round, potentially with the 71st overall pick, would represent an immediate and meaningful upgrade at nickel corner. The one factor that might cause Scott to slip a little is his age. He'll be 25 before the season starts, which is a flag for some teams. But for a Commanders team that wants a player ready to contribute from day one in a new scheme, that experience and maturity might be exactly what Durante Jones is looking for. That's where things stand in Ashburn right now. An elite receiver available for practically nothing but carrying a massive cloud of uncertainty. A 23-year-old wideout with a proven connection to Jaden Daniels, but at a price that might be too steep. And a slot corner who could be the steal of the draft if he falls to 71. Adam Peters is playing high-level chess right now, and y'all don't understand how much is moving behind the scenes. The draft is 18 days away, and every move or non-move is going to define what this offense and this defense look like in 2026. This thing is just getting started, fam. Raise hail. If this breakdown fired you up the same way it fired me up, drop that like right now and tell me in the comments, do you bring in Aiyuk? Do you go after Brian Thomas Jr.? Or do you stand pat and draft at 71 and keep moving? I want to read every single take. See you in the next one.